Hi, Happy New Year. I'm in Staveley near Chesterfield today. It's 2024, the decorations are down. The calendar's up. And I'm off up and away. I'm at the start of a 6-mile former branch line railway between Staveley and Creswell in North Derbyshire. When I say I'm at the start, that applies a little bit loosely because right down there in front of us, Chesterfield Canal is being rebuilt straight across the track bed. That's where that steel fencing is, you can see. Saved us a mile of our exploration today then. As we head on into this glorious January morning sun, a few more facts for you. The first being that we'll be on ballast for a while. After 3 years of construction, the Clowne branch opened in 1875, initially as a goods route to serve the nearby coal industries, then became a passenger line from 1888 onwards. The branch was constructed by the Midland Railway to connect the larger towns of Chesterfield and Mansfield, and together with the nearby coal industries at the time. As the sun starts to calm down coming around this curve, we've got what's left of a bridge. Oh, and a bit of fencing as well. The sun has got its hat on, but at least it's got out of the way. And meanwhile, I've got mine on now as well. We have our first station coming up shortly. This more wider open area is most likely to be where the main part of the station sat. I reckon that clearing above us would have indicated where the station would have been. One peek across on my left, and we've got some lovely red brickwork in there. Almost certainly a platform. Despite the rather aged look of those piers, I'm pretty certain that the rest of that footbridge was not there back in the period. Full steam ahead, the train is now departing Staveley town. Slightly further ahead, another footbridge. We seem to have caught up with the sun again. Always when we come up on a bridge, isn't it? We've just arrived at our second main spot of interest for today. This is Seymour Junction in Poolsbrook. It's where our route and the Doley branch to Bolsover once diverged. It sounds like a few people have had their sleep interrupted. This is where we have to turn left. The ballast has gone for the meantime. Not for long though. That's not our only problem for now, because there's another one just ahead. One slight bit to bother over with, and we're back to the ballast once more. On our right here is the remains of an old signal box. And here, guys and girls, is where the ballast finally ends. We have now joined the publicly accessible part of the Clowne branch line, or as it's known nowadays, the Clowne Greenway. Over to my left before we set off, however, I'd just like to show you the branch to Oxcroft Colliery, which we'll hopefully be looking at on another video. You can get a good view of the Oxcroft branch from here, or almost a good view. We're at the first of a set of fantastic bridges on this line. This is the one under Bolsover Road. Let's go right on through it. Plenty of sleepers were still lying in these arches when I first visited here in 2018, at a time when this track bed was still ballast right down to Clowne. And ahead we have our next bridge to go underneath, the glamorous old M1, where I actually first saw this railway from the top of, albeit through the comfort of a car window. I also couldn't help but clap eyes on this little beauty over the other side. A concrete ganger's hut. Nice view from in here, don't you think? For the first time in what feels like about 2 miles, I think, we get into another cutting at last. And we're then suddenly back up onto an embankment again. And behind it, there's another bridge. Supposed to be just a private farm lane or something under that one. Over that one. Oops, sorry. I'm about a mile west of Clowne now and approaching. Nice little pieces of infrastructure here on the right. I sort of love how this line goes from cutting to embankment to cutting again so rapidly. Getting on towards another bridge, and where things will get interesting just after it. And here, just another 100 metres further, is another bridge. That isn't a bridge any longer, but it was another railway once. The bridge that once ran above us carried the Spinkle branch from Rotherham to Nottingham. It also ran through Clowne and to Creswell, alongside the line we're walking now. We're up on a pretty high embankment now, not that the trees allow you to notice that. We're under Borton Lane here. I have to stop here and look at this one. For a small kid, that sort of bridge looks like it's right up in the sky. Entering the heart of Clowne now, and 2 more nice looking bridges to welcome us in. The one with the bus going over it is North Road, and that's Station Road just behind, where the nerve centre of today's trip finally awaits. I'm standing on top of the recently restored platform here at Clowne, a station which was known by 3 different names throughout its time. It was known as Clowne, as you can see spelt here, until 1938, then as Clowne and Bolborough until 1955. Then back to this, but with an E on the end this time, until its closure in 1962. As we take a walk along the platform, your mouth waters at the impressive amount of stuff such a small local station displays. An old lamp up there. Rails for fencing. Remains of an old bollard. I think this might have been at the station exit. And the best bit, of course, this beautiful signal was placed here by the station's preservation group in 2020. It is not part of the original station, but I cannot imagine a more fitting home for it nowadays. The passenger services, which started operating this line in 1888, were pretty stringy, with only 3 trains each way initially, and none on Sundays. This would increase to 5 each way by the 1920s. Stuff this one going for a bus. A scant enough service had shrunk back even more severely again by the early 1950s, with no services at all on weekends, except specials, and the weekdays 1 each way diagram remaining run to suit local school hours. Quite a shame really, isn't it, how such a beautiful little station saw so few daily trains in its life. I've just come up here to make a quick detour to show you something. This behind the gate is a former Clowne South station. It's on the Spinkhill line which crossed us earlier, if you remember the bridge with no bridge on it. Back to the main route again. A nice little monument of times gone by. Sleepers and some other bits. Seeing a good new lease of life here. As we pull out of Clowne, we can see that other line from Spinkhill over there on the embankment. We stay neck and neck with it for about half a mile, I think, before it diverges. Another bridge no more. This is a footbridge at the end of Mitchell Street. We're also heading downhill now, having come uphill all the way from Staveley to Clowne. So Clowne's at a kind of a summit. I think we go down about maybe 1 in 60 at the steepest. I haven't checked the stats already. Another of these swishy new ramps that got added in a few years ago when the Clan Greenway came to being. Just along here, another bridge that once bit the dust. Footbridge or road bridge. Your guess is as good as mine. We meanwhile find ourselves heading underneath Holland Hill Road. Definitely interested to see how it's got twin arches here. And we head back out into the open again one last time before the confines of Creswell swallow us all up. If Creswell is capable of swallowing people up. Well, it's got a few caves, or crags, as they prefer to call them down there. Thrust into the cutting one final time today. This is one excellently engineered little railway. I've never known a line weave through so many sharp cuttings in such a short bit of line. You can certainly see the summit drop away as we head on. I cycled down here a fair few times and suddenly realised how fast I was going. We can see it's beginning to get magically deeper again here. And as the longest, steepest and deepest cutting on the whole route finally peters out, we pick up on another pretty looking bridge. Apparently it's just a private farm road passing over, junctioning with the A616, which is just to my right hand side. So with that, we'll keep on right ahead. It's opened out into a bowl again. That bridge must be some sort of border. At this stage, we finally see the road again for a brief moment. Over the stream. And here we cross over a large wide brook apparently. Even more closer to the end, we're about to cross over Hazelmere Road. And as far as I believe, the last of these brand new black bridges. As we escape the fenced up confines once more, it emerges that we've been walking along the top of an embankment for the last quarter of a mile. As we get into sunny old Creswell. We are now at last reaching the end of the line. And this is it. That embankment up on our left. Just behind me is Creswell Station and the site of the former junction with the still existent Worksop to Mansfield Midland Railway line, also known as the Robin Hood line nowadays. As indicated by the name still surviving on the signal box, which is remarkably surviving itself, Creswell Station was originally known as Elmton and Creswell. I'd say the station building appears to have survived marginally less better, although the signalling still stayed somewhat faithful to the past. Passenger services via the Clowne and Barrow line finally finished operating in 1954. Goods ended in 1960 and excursions and football services ended in 1962. Occasional coal and freight trains continued to use the line through until 2006. It was eventually lifted in 2011 and now is a Clowne Greenway. Anyway, thanks for watching again. But I've just looked at the timetable. I don't think there are that many trains due for quite a while yet. So, just leaves me to say, let's get 2024 off to a great start. Don't be a clown. Get that subscribe button hit. See ya. Oh mate. Yes? Your bus not come yet then?